Hello, everyone. Jake Lawrence from the Jake Lawrence Podcast, a podcast about Chicago industry, technology, and thought leadership, sponsored by Corporate Suites Network, your premier vendor in corporate housing and short-term rentals. Visit them at csnhousing.com. And today we got Matt Zastrow as the guest. He is a Chicago expatriate living in Colorado, and so he is the perfect guest for us for the first episode of the Jake Lawrence Podcast. He is not living in Chicago, and his niche industry is adventure guides, and that probably won't be replaced by robotics in the near future. Any thoughts on that, Matt?
Well, I'm thinking of a robot leading someone down a mountain trail right now, and that would be pretty interesting.
You know, I saw a video from Boston Dynamics earlier today with a jumping robot. So maybe.
Well, that's just impressive. That's impressive, honestly. You know, I would have to agree. I don't think that robotics is necessarily going to be replacing my service as an adventure guide, as you put it.
Well, is that really what? I don't want to presume anything, but you left Chicago, a couple years ago, right?
A year ago.
Oh, a year ago.
About exactly. Yes. So I loved it in Illinois. I enjoyed Chicago. My parents grew up in south side of Chicago, and I enjoyed the museums and went to school in Illinois. So I'm definitely Illinois born and raised.
And so why did you leave this great state?
Mountains.
Is that it? Is that your only reason? Is because of the mountains?
Mountains.
Yeah, wow, okay. So yeah. You left, you had a job lined up, and you're classically trained as an engineer, right?
Correct. I was a manufacturing engineer by degree.
Okay, and then when you left Illinois to go to Colorado, did you have the idea of earth-inspired coaching before you left, or was it something that you kind of like came up with when you saw the mountains?
Well, it was something that I came up with when I saw the mountains, but actually not the Colorado mountains. Maybe when I seen mountains in Alaska when I was 15, I started appreciating adventure travel and, hiking and climbing mountains and, what it really did to me as a person. But I obviously from 15 until, I'm still an engineer. So I still went the engineer route. And so engineering was what was going to pay the bills and what was my realistic bread and butter winner.
A part of, I guess, being in this generation, being a quote-unquote millennial, being in our 20s, it's a lot of it is having that day job and then pursuing the dream gig at night, in the evenings, and on the weekends, spending our off time trying to make that dream come true. So I'm right there with you, buddy. What do you think as the engineer, do you think this is going to be a long-term thing for you, or do you really think that you're going to be branching off and scaling up, mirth-inspired coaching?
Well, I will always consider myself to personally be an engineer, just someone who studies the systems of things. But yeah, I don't plan on working as a classical engineer for the rest of my life. That's for sure.
Okay, so how'd you start Earth Inspired Coaching? Tell me, like, right from the very conceptual idea from the very beginning.
All right. Well, started with my personal journey, which at a young age, I started suffering from digestive issues, which basically food was not going down my throat. I then relied on medical professionals to do their best, and I continued to suffer, even though I was seeing the best of the best. Then after years went by, I think about 6 years went by, I developed other rare health disorders. And at that point, just decided enough is enough and took things into sort of my own hands, took my health under my responsibility. And I started learning about the body's processes, the body's systems, and realized that the medication I was taking was actually working against my digestion. And so I found a natural remedy to increase this stomach acid, help out my digestion. I then found incredible success. Just the more diet and lifestyle changes I made, I found incredible success. I then continued to learn more and more and more, and then share that with friends and family. And then some friends started finding success of their own, following some of what I was teaching them. And after Corey Hassler lost 100 pounds, and sort of changed his whole life. And, I could see it in his face how much fun he was having now that he had restored his health. I was like, you know what, this is incredibly valuable to others. And it feels absolutely great to be able to, share that with other people, share like my own success through diet and lifestyle, and share that with others, and then have them find their own success. It's an amazing feeling. So I realized that, hey, this adds value to people's lives, and I really enjoy doing it. And so I then went into formal studies for health coaching and nutrition with the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and then eventually went on to study Mark Sisson's Primal Blueprint Expert Certification Program. And here I am today, continuing to help other people find their own health success stories and hopefully get them healthy enough to the point where they can run around and be crazy outside. Because that's a lot of fun. So, being an engineer, there's not exactly that immediate outlet for me to share, to add that value to people's lives. So that's why I formed Earth Inspired Coaching, so that I had a direct outlet to add that value.
Matt, just like listening to you talk about this, as opposed to listening to you talk about like moving from Chicago and talking about your day job, like the passion in your voice is just like totally, evident, right? So I don't know, what is the vision and the mission of Earth Inspired Coaching?
The mission is to enable optimal health through primal lifestyle coaching. So really, I want people to realize that they don't have to feel, less than optimal. They can feel absolutely incredible just through diet and lifestyle changes. And then you address your health, you heal, become empowered through education, and then you can go out and live your life more fully. And then ultimately, you'll be able to contribute more to the world around you. I really consider myself an environmentalist. I care deeply about the environment, the health of our ecosystems, and I recognize that, every human individual, we all, we're going to consume resources and we're going to have consequences on the world around us. And when I felt when I felt less than, optimal, when I felt horrible, I was not really able to contribute to the world around me. I wasn't able to, think long term. I wasn't able to make, wise decisions because I was concerned with the immediate, I don't have the energy for it, so I'm just going to eat whatever's in front of me. So then after, restoring my health, I found it easier to, live a more sustainable life. Going out to the garden is a lot easier when you actually feel healthy enough to go out there and do some work. So restoring our health, we can live a sustainable life and then ultimately contribute not only to humans, but also to, the natural world around us.
Can you, I feel like the audience may be missing a big part of this. Matt climbs up mountains on the regular and he has a garden and he lives in. Dude, can you just explain your living situation, what you do on a weekly basis, and how you, what you do in real time to contribute to these values and to your mission?
Well, really, I feed my cats full time. No, actually, although, yes, I do have my cats. We live in Coal Creek Canyon, Colorado. I'm at probably 8,000 foot elevation. I'm about 15 minutes into the mountains. I live on a small farmette where there are 3 dairy goats. 2 dairy goats and a male goat, and then chickens. And yeah, so I wake up, I let the animals out. I milk the goats if it's my turn to milk the goats, and then I go to work Monday through Friday as a quality engineer, as a quality manager engineer, and then evenings and weekends I'm running around the mountains. Now that I live in Colorado, I'm 1,000 miles closer to these mountains. So, I enjoy trail running and climbing trees, climbing rocks. Recently, we've even been bringing our cats out on hikes with us, and it's really interesting. They've proven to be, a little bit better at rock climbing than I am. So,
for the next month, I'm having on industry experts, professors, and thought leaders in Chicago, and none of them, I guarantee you, have any dairy goats on their property. Nor do any of them walk their cats in the mountains. So I think you and I right now, we're having a very unique conversation. And to be perfectly honest, though, I think it's an important conversation as well. It's 2 different life perspectives. It's 2 different philosophies of living. And looking forward to the future, it's going to be how does the coming age of technology, how is that going to shape what we do, what I do, what these industry experts do? And what do you think? How is it going to affect you, Matt? How is it going to affect your business? How is it going to affect your lifestyle? Because we're going to be having severe artificial intelligence, virtual reality, real Matrix-like stuff coming soon to us in the next 5 to 10 years. And where do you see your niche industry moving with those trends?
Well, I have to say good luck to humanity, because it seems that, the only source of perfection, I think it was Albert Einstein, says you want to find perfection, you look deeply into nature, and we are a product of we are a product of nature, of our world. So I think we're always going to sort of be perfecting and improving. I think nature will, as long as there still is natural environments around us, they will still prove to have new findings and new incredible awe-inspiring facts that will teach us something new. Now, that being said, technology, my experience with technology and actually engineering overall has actually been exciting, because you go into college and you study engineering, and you're classified as someone who is a social reject, or someone who your social skills may not be the high point. You're focusing on math and science, physics and calculus, FMEAs and everything on design analytics. But actually what it comes down to with all engineering, it's communication. I'm a quality engineer by day now, and all of the defects, or probably 99% of the defects can be traced back to a lapse in communication. Either something in circuitry sent the wrong signal, or did not send the signal when it was supposed to. Everything is coming down to communication. Now, with Earth-inspired coaching, again, what I am offering is basically a chance to communicate with me and learn from my experiences and my education. So, without communication, again, there wouldn't be that transference of knowledge. So technology coming of age, I hope, and I know that we are improving sensor technology. We're improving, the ability of electronics to, compute and analyze all of this information. So honestly, I think it will only help us to understand the world around us better. Earth-inspired coaching. Hey, I can, I can make videos, and then I can share these videos with my mom, who has, really bad knees. So when I'm up on top of, Long's Peak at 14,000 feet, I can take a video, and then I can share that with everyone back in Chicagoland, and inspire them to basically take their 2 weeks of vacation out in Colorado. So the technology, I think, will only help us improve our ability to communicate and analyze and understand the world around us. But there will never be a 100% replacement of the world around us. Yeah.
That's interesting, and that's a pretty unique perspective, but I think it's pretty shared with some people. The idea that there's always going to be a human element, when it comes to this technological wave that's approaching us. There's always going to be room for humanity, right? There's always going to be room for us to communicate better, and then to touch one another. That's presupposing the fact that humans have a monopoly on communication, though. So there's maybe a question. Do you think robots in the future, or androids, will be better at communicating than humans are?
Honestly, they might already be there. It's on, I think, like how open and honest the person wants to be. Deep down in our gut, what we would say that we understand deep down in our gut, humans were way beyond robots in that aspect. But what we, actually speak about, what we actually communicate to one another about, that communication that can be extremely poor sometimes with people. I mean, me as an engineer, basically my whole goal is to translate reality into into a communicatable way, communicatable fashion, so that, we understand, hey, we need to put energy into this aspect, and forget about that. So, again, I mean, I can see the technology helping us. I mean, as long as we don't allow technology to become an excuse for us to just turn off, so to say. For us to turn off listening to our gut instincts. That would be a shame. To use technology to listen more, I think that would be great. But I would say that humans have to remain in control, of the conversation. We would have to control the communication. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fair assessment. That's a fair assessment. It's who knows what's going to happen, right, in the next 5-10 years. Humans are historically bad at predicting the future. And I don't suppose I have the answers, and I'm sure you don't either. But maybe there's this one experience of being a human, like there's nothing like being a human. And that experience is only shared with other humans. So it's going to be interesting to see in the future if robots, androids, artificial intelligence, etc., are going to be able to replicate that experience in a genuine fashion that is going to fool us in some way, and that will be able to replace Matt Zastrow's passion, about adventure guides and health. So we don't know, but in terms of the mission, the values, and the passion, I think you got one up on the robots, Matt. I really do.
If we can make a virtual reality headset that you can put, or any kind of setup, any kind of virtual reality, if you can make someone go through that virtual reality and come out and, say they climbed a mountain in the virtual reality, if they came out with the same exact feeling and experience as actually climbing that mountain, I would admit that, then technology wins. But until that point, good luck recreating a mountain.
Yeah. So one of the things that I do on my spare time is I help to organize hackathons, and hackathons are just marathon coding events for high schoolers and college age students. And a lot of times larger corporations come in and they give us their technology to play with. And one of the companies that gives us their tech is the Oculus Rift. And last year at NIU at the Husky Hackathon, I got to see a lot of really smart kids create games and create environments within the Oculus Rift. And I had a pretty modern model of the Oculus Rift, and dude, I gotta tell you, it's getting a lot better. It really is. The immersion level of the virtual reality is getting better, and isn't it? I think it's called Moore's Law, that every single year technology like exponentially increases. So if we look at a trend line with virtual reality itself, I mean, I think we're really looking at 5, 10, maybe 15 years, that we're going to be completely immersed in a virtual reality world, and we're not going to be able to tell the difference between a mountain or a real mountain, a VR mountain, or a real Matt Zastrow mountain. You know what I mean?
It is getting really impressive. I mean, it's impressive what we can do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how truly deep. I mean, I think we can recreate so many aspects of so many elements, but us as humans, we can only we can only be aware of so many things at one time. So, yeah, I mean, what happens when virtual reality gets to the point where it is, surpassing the human capability to even take in that much sensory information? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Will then maybe at some point virtual reality will be able to create something that's, even more incredible than,
Right.
than actually climbing a mountain and, rescue and flight for life would be a lot easier if people were in a, different situation. But
yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's 5 years. I don't know if it's 10 years. I don't know if it's 15 years. It might be 100 years, but I think it's inevitable. I think the eventuality of it is certain at this point. And having this discussion now, I think, is important. And talking about it and talking about how it's going to disrupt each of our, niche industries is an important endeavor. And just thinking about how to utilize it at this stage of the game makes us that much better in dealing with it in the future. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm really excited as well. I mean, there is here's with Earth Inspired Coaching, amongst climbing mountains. Coming from Illinois, I had a great background with gardening. I loved gardening. And, when I was 4 years old, my mom told me to put my hand in a big compost pile. It was January. There was a foot of snow over it. And I had to stick my hand in there. And I was like, why are you doing this, Mom? Well, I did. And it was totally warm.
Oh, wow.
And that experience changed me forever. And, now with gardening, I seen there was basically a CNC, a computer controlled gardener, a little 4x6 plot, and it would actually plant the seed. It would pick the weeds. It would water. And then the only thing that the human had to do was harvest. And, that's incredible. That's amazing because there's a lot of busy people. But are those people ever going to stick their arm in a compost pile?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Can a robot stick their arm into a compost pile and have that same experience? Will it be
Right.
Will it be that much more impactful for the robot?
You know what?
Yeah.
If it does, then let the robot live.
Robot rights, dude. That's what we got to start talking about. We got to start talking about robot ethics and robot rights. Well, you know what? Actually, that kind of brings us to not to change gears or anything, but I was just thinking about something that a robot, I don't think can or will for a very long time experience, and that is to have a motivation to continue pushing forward. And I know you're an entrepreneur, and I'm trying to get my company off the ground as well here in Chicago. And we both have different motivations that drive us, that make us do the day job as well as the night job, as well as the weekend job. And what are your motivations, Matt? Is it just to climb mountains, or is it something deeper than that?
Well, it's to live life. I mean, this is the opportunity that we know that we have. Like, I'm Matt Zastrow, and I know that I'm Matt, and I'm alive, and this might be the only chance I ever get to, experience this. So it's kind of, you can. So, take advantage of it. But then, beyond that, below that, it would be growing up and, my mother instilling, caring for the world around me by letting me know, hey, be nice to that garden, don't throw a wrapper or something in there, from your Halloween candy, because we eat from that garden. Like Mother Nature is providing this to us. So, be respectful. And so respect is a big motivation for me. We're alive. I'm alive. I plan on continuing to be alive. And as long as you are alive, you're going to consume, and you're going to spit stuff out. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just think that there's certain ways that you can consume and, regurgitate or, give off whatever it is. You eat food and then you have energy, and then you have energy to live. So whether it's climbing a mountain or planting a garden or having, a conversation, you're going to take stuff in and give it out. And we can do that in a respectful manner. So basically you can continue life even though death is going to be there. We can eat and we can consume. We can mine materials out of the ground and then build, computer boards with them and then build robots. We can do that. There's pros and there's cons. It's just be respectful as we consume and give off.
Okay, yeah. And so I wouldn't be asking you this question if I thought you were a dirty money grabbing capitalist and all. But that being said, where does the intersection of your mission, values, and passion play a role in your business model? And, I know we're all capitalists in that sense, right? You're an entrepreneur and I'm an entrepreneur. But where does the intersection of mission, values, passion, and business model come into play with Earth Inspired Coaching?
Again, what are you going to take in and what are you giving out? So with Earth Inspired Coaching, clients, they will give me their time, their energy, and they will also give me their money. And through that money and their time and energy, I exchange education as well as passion and, just someone to be there. It's as nice as Siri can be in other things. It's sometimes just having another person right there can be extremely beneficial. So basically, they give me time and energy and money, and I give them time, energy, and my education and experience and human presence. So, what I take in, I try to equal or give off even more.
Wow, that was a great answer. I wasn't expecting that. That's good. That was a great answer, man. Okay, but what if you scale up from this point? What if Earth Inspired Coaching gets a couple different Matt Zastrow clones around other heavily mountainous areas? What if your company scales up? You're able to quit your day job. How are you going to be able to keep that philosophy, right? That mission, that values, that passion? How are you going to keep it?
Well, as scary as, previous reputations have given it, the whole pyramid scheme thing, a lot of business structures end up being like that. And I don't think that there's something necessarily wrong with that, as long as, say, I could then educate others to educate others. So, I could help select people, say I help 10 other people, and then they gain the skills not only to heal themselves, but also to work with others in a efficient manner, then my outreach would be even greater. And then maybe I could just focus on doing some really super fancy outings that would be really revolutionary to people,
Yeah.
and then have basically some help or people underneath, seeing individual clients and putting in the time and energy that way. As long as the quality is still there, as long as you're still adding value to people's lives, it's like, okay, yeah, people are going to make money and, people are going to, maybe they'll buy a fancy car or they'll buy a whatever property or, buy, fancy grass-fed ribeye steaks or something. I mean, but honestly, I mean, we all like, we want stuff, and I don't think that we should necessarily stop that. We should just be, conscious of what we want and how we're getting it. And, is that truly what we want? And with a business, I mean, if I truly, wanted more money and I wanted, to reach more people, then yeah, I would train people underneath me, to then be health coaches. And yeah, I mean, currently I can even offer people, links to sign up for some of the same training and everything that I did. So it's kind of just like with engineering, as you learn a certain skill and you get it, you become advanced in one field, then you can then stop working for one individual company and you end up being a consult, and you then go to multiple companies and then you speak to other engineers. So then all of those engineers have those skills. They can then all apply those skills. So, I mean, as long as you are adding value to someone's life, as long as you are, spreading good knowledge, as long as you are, truly communicating with someone, then, it's all right. Even if it grows, even if it gets huge, even if I'm the next Walmart somehow, like that, whatever, as long as, as long as we're doing what is, best for life on this planet.
So is this value added, ethics driven, scalability, something that you think about? Is this taking your business to the next level? Is this something that you dream about? Is this something that you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about? Or, I mean, like, talk to me about that process in your head.
After I reach, I dream and I think so much, and I really, really love white dry erase boards, and I have gone crazy over those boards. And read a couple Tony Robbins books and had a heyday. And I've thought about it, and after I reach a certain number of clients, after I have basically after I get 100 clients that have incredible results, then at that point I'm going to scale up and move beyond that. Yeah.
Well, that's great, man, and I'm glad to hear that you're dreaming about it. I'm glad to hear that you are using your whiteboard. I'm looking at my whiteboard right now, and hell yeah, man. I love it. I use it often. It's great. I have it right next to my 3 monitors right now. It keeps me on task. You know what I mean?
It's something about the feeling of that marker against a dry erase board. It's like finding the perfectly sharpened colored pencil when you were a little kid. Like it's just the right one that enables you to communicate and to write things down and to share information with yourself.
It's the difference between reading a book like a hardcover book versus reading it on a Kindle. The whiteboard is the hardcover book and a Post-it note as a computer program is the equivalent to the Kindle. You know, like those online to-do lists. Oh my God. I went through a huge phase where I went through so many online to-do lists, and it's just like I tried them all and they all didn't work. And you know what ended up actually working for me is just uh, a pen and a piece of paper and just labeling it to do, you know, with the date and then crossing each task off. Because the physical sensation of crossing each task off was more fulfilling, you know, psychologically, than checking it off with a mouse click, on an online platform. You know what I mean?
Well, and batteries can run out, and I'm not always near a plug. So sometimes the to do list written on my cell phone, it can go away, and I can find a brand new list of things to do in wherever I'm at. But the dry erase board, it's incredible. But having something physical, like a piece of paper you have it written down. I mean, if I have that in my pocket, the battery's not going to run out of that. Like, I'm going to keep that with me, and I'll know that it's real. So,
I mean, we're talking about like a small topic, right? But it's the difference between, physical sensations and digital sensations. And that's what I'm interested in, I think, is going up to Mount Rainier in Washington and looking at the peak, versus posting a Facebook post, right? And there's huge differences in our makeup, right? Our DNA just reacts differently to the physical versus the digital, and I'm preparing myself for when the digital outweighs the physical. Do you know what I mean, Matt?
I do. Now, see, that's interesting because, I mean, this topic has always interested me specifically. I went into college at NIU, and I went in and I wanted to become a design engineer. I was going to become a mechanical engineer. I was going to get an ME degree and then be a design engineer because I loved CAD. I loved, drafting. I loved creating all these virtual realities. And when I started, doing more shop class, and when I started realizing that, what I had learned, working on cars in a garage as a kid, is that the process of ideas and concepts to reality is incredible. I mean, now being an engineer and being involved with manufacturing, I've been an engineer for a custom weld and fabrication shop where we would make all kinds of different things. I've made forklifts all the way from, the frame and putting the tires on to driving the thing away. Now making little water meters. And let me tell you, between the design engineers and the assembly, it's there's a whole lot going on. And as confident as you ever want to be in humans' execution of an idea or concept, the design is always going to be influenced somehow through the actual manufacturing, or what would it be if it wasn't a physical manifestation, I guess. So yeah, the manufacturing or manifestation of an idea or concept is, I don't know if humans will ever be able to fully grip that. I think we're always going to have some work to do.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. What do you think about how has that idea, the one that you just said, how has that idea changed in your life in the last 5 years?
It's honestly, it's been like I'm such an engineer. It's like a personal issue. It's like affected my like personal life and my how I feel and even my how I can set expectations for my earth inspired coaching because in manufacturing, we are trying to make 100% of everything correct. If we're hitting 99%, it's like, what are you doing? Like let's get Six Sigma here and, let's tighten things up. Now, and I would have those expectations at my engineering job of, okay, 100%, 99.99, like that we're going for it. And trying to hold these standards and expectations in a completely human environment through health coaching, it's unfair. It's not realistic. It's just, I'm not saying that like 100% of everyone can have success. It's like, yes, I think everyone can find success, but when you start getting nitpicky about it, it's kind of how you define success. And there's so many definitions that when working with people, I've had to really be open to sort of like, what would be the manufacturing process of making a component, working with people when I have a certain purpose, a certain topic that I want to educate on. I really have to be open to so many different ways that could be interpreted by the person. So it's kind of not like, you go from stage 1 and you do process A and B, and then stage 2, you do process C and D, and then you have your end result, and it is, X. Working with people, it's you put in whatever you want, and I mean, a whole world is going to open up. So, you have to kind of be open-minded while still guiding the person towards their goals, which is just way more open-ended working with people versus like making something or, designing something.
Yeah, I think that was going to be my next question too for you was trying to discover the dichotomy between Matt, the engineer, versus Matt, the health coach, and the differences between your day job and, your side gig. And I think you did a pretty good job at describing the differences, but is there anything else you want to put in there?
Yeah, I mean, I like to have a lot of fun. I want other people to have fun, and fun is just so incredibly open-ended that, it's okay to have somewhat of an unspecific goal, for you as a person. Whereas, if you're going to be designing something, if you are an engineer and you have a task, then, it's okay to whip out the caliper and measure it to the 1,000. Just don't be so harsh on yourself as a person, because you're just going to defeat yourself that way. So, yeah.
Oh man, I just have my quote for this podcast. You just did the quote for the podcast, man. Thank you. That was good.
Thank you for appreciating it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay. Where do you see yourself, your business, and your philosophy, in, what is it, 2017, in 2022, in 5 years?
I see myself with a lot of very, very incredible, excited people, somewhere really, really far in the woods. And I'm honestly questioning why I am that far in the woods. And I'm glorified. I'm totally joyous at how much fun everyone else is also having.
All right. And if you in 2022, which book do you have on you? It's the only book that you can have for this thought experiment. Which book do you have on your body at that point when you're having that much fun?
I have Seed Savers seed catalog.
Dude, you cheated. You cheated, man. That's good. That's great. Any literature? Any literature in there at all, or? I'm fishing. I'm sorry.
I have to choose just one.
Yep.
Oh. One Straw Revolution.
One Straw Revolution.
Yeah.
This is going into the show notes. Who's the author?
Man, it's really difficult for me to pronounce. Something like Fukushima.
Fukushima. Okay. I'll put it at the end of the article. I'll add a link to the Amazon book for One Straw Revolution. Okay, cool. And one record that you would have when you're in those woods having a ton of joy and excitement and fun.
Oh, gosh. Just one again. If it's just one, then it is, sorry to be, a little typical, but it's Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were going with Nickelback, so I'm very happy.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very happy you chose Pink Floyd. And, okay. And okay. If you could bring any website with you, any website at all with you, and let's just imagine that you could fit a website in the back of your pocket. Which website would you bring to those woods?
I mean, right now it would be 14ers.org.
14ers.org. What is that?
It's an absolutely amazing resource for tons of information about trails and trail conditions, trip reports, all kinds of people climbing mountains. So it's information to make it safe and possible.
Very cool. And one app that you could fit in your back pocket.
I don't know what the app is called, and I'm going to cheat on this question, but the Stargazer app?
Yeah.
I really like that. But I don't necessarily want the stars. I want all the mountains to be identified.
All right, so you're going to create your own app then.
Or I'll run around with all kinds of GPS things on me, so I'll get the data for it, and then other people will take
and
the app.
Okay, that's awesome. And okay. What would the Earth-inspired coaching app look like?
It would be a daily reminder to go outside, as well as a nutritional info app.
That's cool. And I'm just going to throw in there, it electrocutes you whenever you're indoors for too long, and it makes you go outside.
Yeah, no, it just sends you daily reminders of like the dangers of sitting too long, and just sends you all kinds of negative emails.
It's negative reinforcement, man, to make you go outside. That's the perfect app.
Hey, it's real.
Okay, cool. Can you give us kind of like a rundown of all the things that Earth Inspired Coaching has to offer, all your services?
Ooh, okay. well, I can walk people through where they currently are. I currently offer free health consultations. So in that meeting, it'll be an hour meeting. I'm going to send you some surveys and questionnaires beforehand. You fill those out. Then we have an hour. We talk. I'll let you know basically where you currently are. Let you know about some of your past trends and habits and what they may have or may have not led to, as well as look at some of the goals that you have set. Then, if we're going to move forward, I offer people guidance on which lab tests may be useful or beneficial for you. There's genetic testing, there's blood tests, hair tests, stool tests, there's all kinds of different tests. There are certain ways to do those tests, and there are certain ways not to do those tests. I will help people basically figure out which ones would be best for them to do, to then help address all of the educational topics covering diet, exercise, sleep, rest, healing, repair, as well as outdoor adventure skills. I'm trying to think of what else. As well as guided trips.
Wait, you take people. I'm sorry, you take people up mountains with you, right?
Yeah. Basically, what I do is I guarantee a time slot to work with individuals. I will send them emails. I will send them, hard copies of books and everything that are beneficial if they request it. Daily journals and logs to track your progress, as well as scheduled phone or Skype conversations where we're going to work out all the details of how to implement these lifestyle changes into your daily life, as well as I'll figure out the logistics for when and where and what trail and what gear may or may not be necessary, and what skill level would be involved, as well as this isn't a mountain tour, but I do grocery tours and tours as well. So
that's awesome. Well, Matt, I think you're a really awesome guy. You're really interesting. You're unique. And I think you bring a really unique perspective to this dialogue that I'm trying to bring about in Chicago. And where can people find you and Earth Inspired Coaching online?
You can always find me. There is Earth Inspired Coaching Facebook page, Earth Inspired Coaching on Instagram, as well as www.earthinspiredcoaching.com, my website. Always feel free to, give my contact info through those media sites and send me an email, send me a text. Look for a guy running around in toe shoes and start asking him random questions.
That's awesome, Matt. Well, hey, Matt, thank you so much for being a part of the Jake Lawrence podcast. And I wish you the best of luck with your business. And any closing thoughts you want to give to the audience regarding you or your business?
Just want to remind everyone to go outside and have fun. Even if you don't believe it's going to happen, just give yourself, even if it's 5 minutes, just go out with the intention of exploring and finding some adventure. And don't be afraid to be a goof. And beyond that, I just want to say thank you, Jacob, for hosting this and inviting me and giving me the media outlet to communicate.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And that's it for episode 1 of the Jake Lawrence podcast, a podcast dedicated to Chicago technology industry and thought leadership. And we are brought to you by Corporate Suites Network www.csnhousing.com, your premier vendor for corporate housing and short-term rentals. And we are also brought to you by Zunis Labs, www.zunislabs.com, a web development, mobile development, and digital marketing firm, a boutique firm for you and all of your digital marketing, web development, and mobile development needs. All right, that's it. And for next week, we have a couple new guests. So keep posted and keep updated. Take care, guys. Bye.